Alright, this is just a piece of 3/4 inch shaft, came off face milled. I could have put it on the chuck and run the chuck up in, but I want to put the hanger in. And I really don't want to use a $500 tool just for setting the collets. And I don't want it to crank that collet all the way down without something in it. That is a no-no according to Ray, the power drawbar king. Okay. Alright. That's in there. What I've done, and I didn't set it up as tools, I set them up as offsets, work offsets. Setting up as tools may be better, but it's easier to set all 3 axes with the work offsets instead of the tool offset. At least, you know, where I'm at right now. So I've been putting this one in there just as a jack to make sure that, help make sure the jaws don't get skewed. I think I'm going to go ahead and reset all 3 points. I'll reset G54, and then I have this one at 56 and this one at 57. I'm using the Heimer for all 3 points, X, Y, Z here, X, Y, X, Y, and I'm setting up Z with the chuck. I'm not saying this is the way, the better way, anything. I'm just simply showing how I'm doing it, because it's what I've got figured out so far. So I set the Z to 0 on each of those, and then it works out that my tool paths on Mach 3 line up perfectly. I mean, they show the part I'm making even though I'm going between 2 tools. And not only that, I want that at 0 so that, like I've said before, I know when I'm coating something, you know, that I can come down to, you know, 10 thousandths of clearance on an ID bore and know I'm not going to hit the jaw, as opposed to using negative numbers by going off the front of the part. And not only that, the part changes. So this is Mach standard mill, which is what I've been using for all this lathe work, mill turn stuff lately. So there's G54, there's G56, this is the touchscreen, 57. I need to get some kind of cover on it. It's actually picked up some debris down here and started making the mouse run to the bottom every time. Alright, took it that time. I just used the mouse. I want a touchscreen for when this thing is final setup. Okay, and once I get in the ballpark, then I use the keyboard. And since the hammer has an accurate ball, I can either come to the back of this, which is exactly where the face of the jaw is, or I can take it out and go to the jaw. I might as well just do it this way. So smack dab in the middle, there's Y. I like that. Final tweak will be on the part anyway, because then I'll have cutting load on it. Okay. And that is Z0. Alright, so I'm going to go over to G56 on Mach standard mill there. Much easier to see with something white in the background. Now what I'm looking to do here, and this may not be completely dead accurate because I'm trying to line up 2 round surfaces, okay, but it's certainly going to get me really friggin' close. Now I'm lining it up in the middle this way so that I can drop it down and line it up vertically on the face so I can check the X and the Z. Not the Z, the X and the Y, okay? The Z I'm not concerned with. I've just got it down low enough that I can see that it's in the center there. Okay. And that's probably pretty darn close, so that's another thing you can do here too. I'm going up and down just a little bit, waiting for a peak, and that tells me that the ball, the curve there, has hit the peak. So that should make it even a little bit more accurate. But let's. Move it about 1 millimeter, 0.9. Wow, that moved a lot. And you got to watch that. You hit that velocity mode or whatever, man, it'll just snap that tip right off. Alright, so we're going to call that Y0 on G56. Now, I probably shouldn't, let's take the hammer and move it off just a little bit, and we'll move and then we go back. And now that I've zeroed Z, or Y, that ball should hit perfectly in the middle, left to right, provided I was pretty darn close going the other way. So yeah, the Z height looks pretty good. This is an X, so it'll get corrected. It can get corrected when I'm actually cutting apart. All right. Okay, let's go up. And, I thought about using this with a, electronic edge finder. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's on tenths. That's why it's taking so many clicks. Anyway, that's X0. And this is G57, so let's switch to G57. X0, yeah, so it's 7 thousandths off. Now for Y. I'm trying not to drag across the point in case the carbide wants to chew on it a little bit. So we're still on G57, so let's come down and do a touch off for our Z. Lucky on that one. Alright, I just heard the first tick. I'll call that 0 for Z. Now, what I'm going to do here is kind of cheat a little bit. I hit return. It pulls up the MDI line. And now I can go G0, X0, Y0. Whoops. Let's tell it G56 first. I could just click on G56, but I could type it in too. That sets it in G56, and then I can tell it G0, X0, Y0. And that'll line it up pretty close. Since I don't have Z set yet, I certainly don't want to try to do that one. So, I gotta move, I gotta move X to get over a jaw. And if you run that jaw down on there, it'll snap the tip off that insert. I'm sure you can guess why I know. Alright. Okay, Z up. So the chuck is in, the tools are set, everything's good to go.